How to save for blank if I'm in debt. So I'll say that again. How to save for blank even if I am in debt. You fill in the blank. What would your blank be? What would you fill into that statement, right? Even if you don't think that you have something to fill in that on that blank, did you ever have something that went into that blank? How to save for blank even if I'm in debt. I have people that have so many things that they've aspired to want and they dream about, and from the surface, looking from the outside, the facade of their lives, they have fancy homes, cars, they go on expensive vacations, but yet they're in extreme debt. So for them, that blank might be how to save for retirement even if I'm in debt, because they're literally living with more month than money. They're struggling and they don't know how they're going to accomplish retirement. So for that one person that has all that stuff, that you look across the street at the person that's living on the corner and they have all these fancy things, or maybe it's a family member or a friend, sometimes they're just at a higher level of broke than somebody else. So they make good income, but they spend more than they're able to save, and they're in extreme debt. So by being in extreme debt, they're struggling and they're living many months with more month than money. They may look and have the facade of being wealthy, but they literally couldn't retire if they wanted to. So what would they do, right? How would they attempt to save for retirement while they're in debt? Well, they need to be mentored. They need to have help. Sometimes, depending on how bad it is, they have to go to credit counseling, or they have to go to debt consolidation companies that will teach them how to get out of debt for a fee, right? You heard me right. These companies charge a fee. There is some companies that do it, they're not for profit, but they still have to pay their overhead. They still have to pay the fees of their staff to help you learn how to get out of debt. So just because somebody has everything that you think that they're wealthy or that they have it made, doesn't mean they can actually retire. I've had people in my life that have, from the outside, they have everything, but yet I know for full well that they will never be able to retire, right? Just because of the fact that they end up becoming my clients in the finance business, and I start gathering information. And for them, the key thing for ensuring that they can actually save for retirement is to get their debt under control. And doing debt consolidation and debt roll-up is something that I teach for free, right? But they have to take control of their finances. I've had these conversations and done videos on this before, but ask yourself, how do you save for blank, even if I'm in debt? So let's say that you don't have what the person that you look at that has all the wealthy cars and pardon me, not necessarily wealthy cars, but has the fancy cars and the fancy homes, and they go on these fancy vacations. What if you can't even afford to go on a vacation? Maybe you haven't been on a vacation in years. How do you go on a vacation while you're in debt? Well, the secret for that is to get control of your debt situation. Back to what I was saying. So whether it's different circumstances, it's still the same thing. You need to learn to control your income and learn to control your outcome. And eventually you can save for a vacation. I've had clients in my career that are $30,000, $40,000 in debt, and maybe you're even more than that, but the same principle applies, where you literally write down everything that you spend every month. You know that you're currently, you're shocked when you do it and you find out you're spending $1.50 and you're only bringing in $1, and it's easy to see why, in black and white, why you're getting farther and farther behind, and why maybe you've never been on vacation, why you've never been able to replace that 12, 15, some cases 20-year-old vehicle that I sit down with people, they have, and they're barely keeping it together in their lives. Well, it's about controlling what you do. So again, how to save for blank even if I'm in debt. So if you're a person that, how do you save for a vacation even though I'm in debt, right? You look at your debt situation, you look at your income situation, you start controlling what you spend every single month, and maybe it's impossible. Maybe you can't control it. Maybe you just your life has gotten to a point that your expenses outweigh your income. So maybe you have to develop a side hustle. Maybe you have to go get a second job, right? I know myself, I'd sooner see you develop a side hustle and learn how to develop a business that can eventually help with your income problems, where you're not bringing in enough income and you're living more month than money. And you start using that extra income from your side hustle, or if it has to be a job, it has to be a job. And you start learning how to pay down your debt. And one of the entry situations that you put in your budget is a vacation, right? You put it actually in your budget, and you start saving on those months where you're putting so much away to pay down debt. It's okay to put a little bit aside to save for a vacation. Or maybe your fill in the blank is having an emergency fund because you're worried that, something's going to break down, the hot water tank, or one of your, maybe the washer or dryer, or your vehicle or something, and you have no cushion in your life and you want to save for an emergency fund. Wouldn't it be great, though, to be educated, to learn how to have within your budget a vacation fund, an emergency fund, just get out of jail free fund? Something where you have the ability to have a little bit of breathing room. Is it attainable? Absolutely. How long is it going to take for you to have it? I don't know. I don't know your circumstances. You'd have to reach out to me and we'd have to have a conversation. But that's some of the things that I've done for clients. Going back to my example of having a client that was $40,000 in debt, they hadn't been on a vacation, an actual vacation, in close to 10 years. I sat down with them, we created a budget situation, and on that budget we had vacation. And I explained to them that it's okay to take, let's say you have an extra $100 a month, let's put 80 towards your debt, because they hadn't been doing that. They had just been servicing debt. And as a side, I'll talk about that in a moment, how servicing debt never gets you out of debt. And you put 80 against your debt and you're putting 20 against your vacation fund, right? So you're starting to pay down your debt and you're living life on purpose, not by accident. And you're saving toward eventually having a vacation. Maybe your initial vacations are just a short jaunt to the mountains. Like for me, a short jaunt to the mountains is 3 to 3.5 hours away, depending on which major provincial park you want to go to. And you just start saving. Maybe you have more than $100. But how are you supposed to know if you don't understand the rules of the money game and how much money you're bringing in and how much money you're spending every month? How are you ever going to continually get ahead in life and be able to aspire to have more if you don't realize that maybe you can't, with your current income level, get out of the circumstances you're in and realize that maybe you do need a side hustle. Maybe you have to go get a part-time job, right? So bottom line, there's lots of great things in regards to having a side hustle. Check out my friend Tony Watley's book, Side Hustle Millionaire. Check out the 365 Driven Society. You can check out the free group, the Entrepreneur Group, the 365 Driven Entrepreneur Group. There's lots of like-minded people in there, and maybe you'll graduate sooner than later to the society where we have like-minded individuals that are already doing more than just dreaming of having a side hustle. They're aspiring and working at their side hustle. And some of us in that society already have our side hustles going, and we're pushing and moving forward so that we can have that extra income, so that we can get completely out of debt, so that we can have everything that we've ever dreamt of. But the key to all of this is it takes effort. It takes work. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens on purpose. So fill in the blank. What do you need to do, right? Vacation, get out of debt. You want to buy a new vehicle, but you're in debt. What do you need to do to accomplish that, right? But it takes some work. It takes some effort. And it all starts with understanding the rules of the money game and understanding the money that you have coming in and the money that you have going out. You need to understand those two things. You need to understand that you know what? No matter what I do, no matter how much I wish and pray, my income isn't going to cover my debt situation, my bills right now. And what am I going to do to get past that? Or if your income can cover it and you can figure it out, then how much do I need to do to get rid of my debt every month? And how much can I put aside, to have that peace of mind to know that eventually I can go on a vacation? So that client that had that $40,000 debt that I talked about, it took 2 years, it was around 2 years, it might have been just a little bit less, for them to get out of debt, to be able to start going on vacation and start having control of their lives. But when I met them, they had been living on the same hamster wheel for, like I said, it was close to a decade, or it might have already been 10 years. And I come into their lives, and by the knowledge and education that I had been taught from others, so that I didn't live in a hamster wheel, I was able to teach others, and I've been successfully doing that now for 18 years. So why do I talk to you about all this? Because I give a heck, and I want you to give a heck about your circumstances, your life, and know that there is hope and there is an opportunity for you to carpe diem, to seize the day and take charge of your life. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. And, if you have any comments, drop me a comment below. Give me a like. Share this if you think this can help somebody. And, again, I do this because I give a heck. And I really want to help you be able to give a heck and live the fullest and the happiest life that you possibly can. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Peace out and God bless.